Hello and welcome to our Lockdown Learning Interviews, a series of chat for some of our staff all about learning in lockdown. In this session, we're going to talk all about families with under sevens. I'm joined by Annabelle Ryan, Head of Lower Prep, and someone who knows all about making learning fun for our youngest pupils. Annabelle, can you explain a little bit about what's involved for the ages that you teach?
Yes, so what we've chosen to do with our younger children, so from nursery up to year two, every year group has their very own website. So we're using Google Sites and all of their lessons, so their full curriculum is posted on their individual site. The idea of the sites is that the children can navigate them themselves. So there's tabs across the top and the children can select their different lessons. There's also lots of story time, story sessions and a games library and lots of things that the children can do if they've finished one of their lessons. Now, we decided to do the majority of our teaching via videos. So it was the actual teachers, so the actual form teachers and staff recording the lessons. Simply because we were a bit worried that if we were relying on the live sessions with the little children and that the parents had to get all of their children sat down at 9 o'clock for the start of a lesson to be there live, actually that they would be missing out on the intro for a lesson and then perhaps wouldn't be able to take part in the activity. So the actual teaching is done via a video, so it can be watched and rewatched at any time that's convenient. But equally, we have got some live sessions as well that the children can join if they will. But these are in addition, so they're not dependent on being able to do the activities.
Lovely. And what have been the problems and how have you overcome them?
So we've had to be very creative in the resources that we use, because obviously with the younger children, so much of what they do is hands-on, practical, physically using equipment, and our classrooms are so well resourced with things that we have out every single day. And of course, they're not at home. And so we had to try and think of, okay, what will the children have at home that they can use so that the objective is still achieved, but in a slightly different way. So it's actually been quite exciting because we've had to really look at our plans and kind of break them down and work out exactly how we're going to deliver those lessons. So, for example, one of the sessions we were doing a fine motor control activity to build those muscles in their fingers. And at school, we've got these big plastic tweezers and we've got pom-poms that the children can use. Thinking, well, it's unlikely that they have those at home. So we did the activity with tongs and balled up bits of tin foil or actual tweezers and getting the children to use those instead. So yeah, trying to be creative, but I have to say it's been a good thing. It's been a positive. Initially, it was a headache, but actually it's all been great.
And what advice would you give to parents with under sevens?
So I know a lot of people are saying the same thing about routine. So as we are, children are creatures of habit. They like their routines. And even at school, the days or the weeks that we're off timetable, we really try to make sure that there is still routine in the children's days, because they don't like it if their routines are all over the place. So keep routine at home. And it doesn't matter what your routine is. It's a routine that fits around you and that works best for you as a family. But do try and make sure that you do have that set routine each day and work it out with the children so the children know what they've got to come. So we're going to start here and then you're going to have a break and then you're going to do your maths and then you're going to have another break so that they know what they've still got to come. Leading on from that, it's making sure that you've got an actual designated space for the learning. School is school and home is home, and what you're having is like work is work and home is home. It's exactly the same for the children, and it's difficult sometimes to work in your home space. So set up a little area in your house, which is where they do their lessons, which is where they do their work. And when they're not doing their lessons, they don't use that space. They go off and play somewhere else so that they can differentiate from when they are really thinking and concentrating and when they can entertain themselves. And that's exactly the same as at school. The children are very different in the classroom to when they're outside in the play area. When they're in the classroom, they're focused and they're listening and they're concentrating. And when they're outside, they're letting off steam. And you need to try and replicate that at home, even putting on their school uniform. So again, we know that we sometimes don't work at our best if we're still in our pajamas, that actually getting dressed up as if you're going to work is really important. The same for the children. They don't do school in their pajamas. So make sure that they are dressed and up and ready. Also, just easing that pressure. I think there's so much about how you're having to teach your children at home. And of course, absolutely. I mean, you've always been teaching your children. You are your children's main educator. But as far as the actual nitty gritty of what they're learning at school, don't worry if you're not quite sure what you're doing with that. We are here to help you. If you're sitting with your child and they're absolutely not getting it, just stop. Quit whilst you're ahead. If they're not grasping it, step away. There is no point you getting frustrated and your child getting frustrated. And you never know, when you come back to it tomorrow, they might have suddenly got it. It might have just clicked. And if it hasn't, you can always get in touch with us. We can give you some pointers or have a little one-to-one live session with your child. Or when they come back to school, let us know that it's something that they struggle with and we can really work with them in school. So please don't worry. We have trained to do this and we can provide you with as much as we can, but equally you can only do your best, and whatever you're doing is enough and it is okay. You're not going to be damaging your children at all. They're going to be fine. And lastly, as I said, we are doing some live sessions, and as I said, we did choose not to have all of our sessions live for the younger children, but equally it is really important as well that we have that two-way conversation with the children. And we love it for our own mental health. We need to see our children as well and be able to interact with them in a live session. Some children do find it a little bit overwhelming, and they might go very, very quiet. They might be really excited about the session, and then the moment they're on it, they don't want to speak. It doesn't matter. It's really strange having their teacher and all of their friends suddenly appearing on screen in their living room. So please don't worry if they are really quiet. And if they are looking a little bit overwhelmed by all of the faces all over the screen, you can pin the teacher. So just select the little pin and then they'll just see their teacher. And they think that we're talking directly to them. So it really, really doesn't matter. They'll soon make up for any quietness once we're back at school. They will be telling us everything. So if they're a bit quiet on the meets, it doesn't matter. And as I said previously, the meets are in addition. So they're not going to be missing out on any of their actual learning and their education. It's purely there for that social interaction and that kind of two-way communication. It's not going to mean that they haven't picked up their phonics or their maths activity.
Right. Have there been any unexpected positives to being at home?
Yeah, so absolutely. And I think this is what we need to do, is really look at the positives and look at, okay, what can we do at home that the children can't do at school? And one of the biggest things would be those life skills. The whole point of school is to learn how to be a person in life. And so we teach them how to weigh and how to measure. Why do we do that? Well, that's because that's something that they're going to need to be doing. So get them to weigh out ingredients and help you make dinner, make lunch, set the table. As they're setting up the table, they are going to be counting the knives and forks. They're going to be sharing things out. Get them to help you meal plan so that they're planning a healthy meal. Again, putting what they're learning into real life so that they can see a purpose for it, so that they know why they're doing it. Climbing trees. Unfortunately, we can't let them climb trees. And so let them do the things when you're there. Let them help you cut up your dinner and let them use a sharper knife with you there, obviously supervising. Play a board game with just the two of you. Share a story with just the two of you. They're the things that we can't do at school. So there's an awful lot we can do at school, but there's an awful lot that you can do at home. So make the most of that. It's important. It really is.
Thank you. And lots of parents are working from home whilst having to supervise their children. Do you have any suggestions for parents trying to juggle the home office whilst their children are having lessons?
Yeah, well, I don't envy you. It's really tough. One of my biggest things, obviously, we've talked about routine, and adding into that routine, one of the best things would be to explain to the children that there are times that they are going to need to be independent, that they're going to need to entertain themselves. You do not need to be at their beck and call every moment of every single day. Once children start being demanding, they're only going to get more demanding. So actually be really clear that there are times when actually they can't come and ask you questions, that they need to leave you alone. alone. It's a really important skill for the children to be able to be comfortable in their own company. And I have to say that that's something that I find they struggle with a lot more nowadays than they did a while ago. You know, they're so used to having that instant gratification. So actually encouraging them to be on their own and problem solving for themselves is actually really important. I mean, at school, if I'm doing an observation on a child, I've been known to wear like dealy boppers on my head. And the children know that if I've got my dealy boppers on, that they need to just leave me alone for a moment and not come and ask me a question and try and sort it out themselves. So it could be that you use something similar, that when you're sat at this chair, the children need to leave you alone. If you're wearing that scarf, you can even make a little do not disturb sign. The children could make it for you so that they know that there are times where they need to be on their own. And linking that with snack time, I think lots of us are eating quite a lot during lockdown. The children will want their snacks, but again, don't have them keep asking you all day long for their snacks. Prepare their snacks for the whole day in the morning, which is what they'd have at school. They'd come in with their snack, and actually they don't ask us all day long for their snack because they know when their snack time is. But if you say to them, this is your snack for the day, and then let them choose when they want to eat it, and when it's gone, it's gone. They can't ask for any more. So say, you can eat it all at 8 o'clock this morning, but then it's gone and you won't have any more. They'll soon learn to space it out.
That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your insight.
Thank you.
And that's goodbye from us.
Yeah, take care. Lovely to see you. Bye.